The people you want to talk to, talking to us. I'm Nick.
And this is Ricky, welcoming you to another episode of the Buffalo Tribe podcast.
Hey guys, Coach Nick and Coach Ricky here from the Buffalo Tribe, and today we're going to talk about a subject that is dear to both of our hearts, which is ego. Ego and encouraging athletes. So we were having breakfast the other day. Again, we do it quite often. And Ricky had a good point he brought up about encouraging athletes in the gym.
Yeah, so it all came to my mind because we had an event recently where we test all our athletes on a 1 rep max, and that happens a lot into a CrossFit box. And it's not the case with my athletes because they all lift amazingly well, but I have seen happen many times into CrossFit gyms, like people going for a 1 rep max and back is all over the place, knees are caving in, like there's literally no form left, and my soul is screaming like, drop the barbell, don't keep going. And then I see a lot of other people around and try to cheer them up and make sure that they can complete the lift. Like I've seen people snatching on the knees, people deadlifting with straight back, straight arms, weight still on the floor and completely rounded back. And I'm like, okay, when should we stop those athletes? Like when not hitting your 1 rep max is better than actually going to hurt yourself.
And it's a good point. I mean, everyone wants to hit that 1 rep max, and especially if you're in a group setting, there can be a little bit of ego involved. I know when we train together, I will always try and do 1 rep more or 1 kilo more, just because that's the kind of shit human being I am.
And it's true.
But there comes a point, where you it's accepted that for you to hit a 1 rep max, technically a 1 rep max should be the perfect expression of form.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at people snatching or clean and jerking at the World Weightlifting Championships, you see that they hit that lift and it looks so easy. Everyone goes, oh, it looks like they could lift 10, 20 kilos more. They can't. It's just because that is everything coming together perfectly in their technique, timing, and strength to make it happen. What people don't see when they're doing these 1 rep maxes themselves in the gym here is they see, okay, it's all right for my form to break down a little bit on a 1 rep max. I can have some breakdown of form. It's okay, but you need to know when to call it a day.
How many times have you heard and you told you want to be your athlete, hey, that one didn't look good. It was like, yeah, but it was my 1 rep max.
Yeah.
But so what?
Yeah.
One thing that really stayed with me when we did a weightlifting course, it was one of the trainers. They came into the room and was like, all right, so what's the goal today? Lifting well or lifting heavy? And everyone was like, well, lifting well. It was like, no, weightlifting is lifting heavy, but the only way for you to lift heavy is to lift correctly.
Yeah.
That would allow you to lift a lot of weight. And sometimes we try to find shortcuts and we gives ourselves the excuse oh, I missed the form because it's my 1 rep max. Well, for me, when it comes to these events, I try to see the heavy lifting as a coach, what do I want my member to be? First thing first, safe. I don't want anyone to be to hurt on my watch, so all my athletes have to be safe. So if I see something that isn't safe, I try to stop them.
Yeah.
Second thing is okay, we are hitting a 1 rep max snatch. The snatch has some sort of point of performance. There's some things that we need to hit. There's some things that identify as snatch as opposed to just a general ground to overhead, right? So for me, to call it a 1 rep max snatch, and I see you snatching, going on your knees and standing up again, you missed the snatch. That's not a snatch for me. Even if you stand up with it, it's not a snatch.
Unless we're talking about the 2009 CrossFit Games, and then it was okay. But nowadays, not so okay.
Same as a deadlift. Deadlift has some sort of point of performance that you need to try to respect. First, you need to be safe. Second, you need to try to go through something that when someone look at it, is like, oh, that's a deadlift.
Yeah.
So for me,
it's never a good sign if someone goes, hey, what lift was that supposed to be?
Yeah, exactly. So for me, it's if your 1 rep max or your heavy lifts or whatever doesn't respect those criteria, it's not a snatch. It's a sort of ground to overhead or a sort of floor to your hip with some sort of technique. So if you can't respect those points of performance into a lift, you probably don't have that weight yet into that lift. You have it in a way that you might get hurt somewhat, it gets off the floor, but it's not your deadlift yet, or it's not your snatch yet. And this brings me down to, because for how long has CrossFit, we've been trying to push people to do 1 rep more, 1 muscle up more, and then we see people, because that applies also to gymnastic movements. How many chicken wings have you seen going on top of the bar? And this is a sensible topic for me that it's a little bit hard to wrap my head around. Open comes up. you have your average Joe that wants to do the workout. So the open usually is like the first workout, low skill, long conditioning piece. Everyone can join, everyone feel the atmosphere. Everyone can jump in without getting hurt, other than the soul in your lungs, but that's fine. And then second workout's a little bit more technique. Usually the third one is where a lot of people hit the wall. Now, you have a workout where your athlete, they don't have, like, let's say ring muscle up. And as second movement, you have like 30 of them. What would you say to your athlete? Try the RX and let's try for 20 minutes to hit one ring muscle up, like with weird form. You never had one. You had 30 as the second movement, or like encourage them to maybe do it as scaled options and maybe work on that weakness later on.
See, like I mean, I go both ways on this one. Probably my favorite quote about the open and competition is that, like, all year long, when you're training, when you're working out, you treat your body like the car that you own, right?
Yeah.
You don't trash the car that you own, you keep it tidy, you get it serviced, you look after it. And then when the open and competition is on, all of a sudden people go, hey, I'm going to treat this like a rental car. I get to hand it back in a week. I'm just going to trash it. I'm not going to worry about putting premium fuel in there. I don't have to worry about getting it serviced. Unfortunately, your body's not like that.
You got to keep it
You
for a
got
little
one
longer.
body, right? I mean, I know they have knee and shoulder replacements now, but still not ideal.
Yeah.
I look at the open and go, okay, if there's something like that, maybe we get you to do the RX one, but then we call it a day where we get to your roadblock. We go, okay, and then we hit you the scaled version of it, and we go, okay, where's your roadblock? Cool, we've got 12 months. We can actually work on progressions. We can work on the skills that lead towards that, the strict strength. And then next year when it comes around, we put you in a position where you're not having sleepless nights thinking about the movement, thinking, oh, maybe I'll get a chicken wing over on that muscle up, or I'll somehow be able to false grip, double pull myself up there. But you can do it with good form. Because, like, realistically, at the end of the day, unless you are the top person in your country or top 30 in the world, the open is just another workout. It's just for fun. And I love seeing the community get around people, encourage them to do the movements, encourage them to hit those heavier weights. But I think sometimes there does come a point where you have to be like, hey, you know what? Today is not your day. Let's go back, let's work on these skills, and we'll make it your day within 3 months, 6 months, 12 months.
Yeah, the only movement that I feel like risking for the open for my athlete is like double unders. Worst
Yeah.
case, you're gonna whip yourself a few times.
I'm
and
okay
that's-
with some whiplash on the arms. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, but like it's really important what you say, because I've seen so many people trying really hard. Let's try a ring muscle up. Like a ring muscle up, it's really
then-
easy to get hurt, right?
And then they try that same workout 4 times within the 1 week as well. They're not just trying it once and go, I'm
Yeah.
going to redo Sunday, redo Monday. And like I guess it kind of leads into that other point too, like that atmosphere of like encouraging people and community. Like I think for us too as coaches, another thing that came out of that was like you need to know the athletes you're dealing with. So whether you've got a group of people working for a 1 rep max or it's that person that's coming last in the workout, not everyone deals well with being encouraged and having a spotlight shone on them in front of everyone.
Yeah, there's like it's always cool to think like, okay, everyone wants to be supported until the end, but now let's put ourselves in the shoes of someone that maybe is like a bit new to CrossFit, first few times into the gym, not really feeling comfortable with what they're doing, and all of a sudden they're the last person standing doing a workout, and there's like 20 people around them cheering them, telling them to go faster, even though they're really doing all they can. It really comes down to the sensibility of like for us as coaches to like identify the situation and say that maybe some people would be better not let alone, but like let's give them some space and let's give them their time, as opposed to have 20 people screaming on them to go faster when that's all they can do. And it's our job to make like the other member understand that sometimes it's maybe good to like take a step back, give a like little clap, chew around a little bit, but let those people go through the work, because everyone reacts to stimulus differently, right? For us it's cool because I kind of give you like that competition vibe that everyone kind of crave. Like, okay, I'm a quite decent athlete. Can we call ourselves like that?
You can, it's okay.
We're like quite decent athlete. We enjoy having fun. If someone comes and cheer for us, we're comfortable with what we're doing and it's nice and enjoyable. But like in the gym, we get people from a lot of different backgrounds. Some people don't want to be cheered on. Some people want like a little bit more of space. Some people react to stimulus differently. And all this is part of the coach job. Like coach job is not just read the whiteboard and give instruction to your clients, but it's tell them like, hey, we need to slow this down a little bit. Maybe we need to push this one a little bit more. Maybe we need to give that person a little bit of space. Maybe we need to encourage that one because it's a bit lazy. Like there's a lot more that comes into coaching as just like, this is the RX way, this is just scaling options, go ahead, have fun.
I mean, like if that was all there was to coaching, we would both definitely be out of jobs.
Yeah.
But I think it comes down to like, even if you're not the coach, if you're just like a participant in the class, like you have to be a little bit empathetic and think, right, you know, we've all been that person. I mean,
Yeah.
none of us were super athletes when we started this kind of training. We started
And
CrossFit.
still not.
None. I mean, like, I finished last in every workout for like a good couple of months when I started. I had no cardio at all, and now I have 0.5 of the cardio, so it's slightly better. But, I mean, and I personally, I hate it when people encourage me. It is my least appealing character trait, is that I get shitty if people encourage me. I hate it, because I think, you know what? If I could go faster, I would. I mean, like, I react a little bit better to negative stimulus.
Yeah. I have.
So it's kind of like, hey, you know, you're not going fast enough, go faster. And it's like, well, that works for me, but as a coach, I would never coach that way because I don't think it's healthy for people.
I just recently had a conversation with one of the drop-ins that we have. Like here we get luckily we get to meet a lot of people around, and they gave us like their experience from other boxes they've trained at or where they train back at home. And it was this guy who was like, literally like, I have a hard time training back at home because my trainers always come at me and scream me to go fast. It's like, I am trying my hardest.
Yeah.
So as sometimes we need to like take the athlete and try to stop them, sometimes we need to acknowledge that they are literally trying their hardest. Like for some people, 3 burpees per minute, that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And we can't go there. It's like, go faster, because I can do 20, so you should be able to do at least 12. That's not how it works.
No, like it should all be relative. I mean, that's
Yeah.
the whole thing about scaling, right? So everyone gets the same
Yeah.
stimulus from the workout with something that's suitable for them.
And we need to acknowledge that with some members. I was like, okay, this person is literally giving all they have, and for us to go there and try to like make them go harder and faster, it doesn't make sense sometimes. We need to be able to understand who we're coaching, what we're trying to achieve from that, and also what they want. I have had members coming in on a 1 rep max sort of day. They're like, listen, I really don't want to lift a 1 rep max. I am either new to barbell or like lifting heavy is not my thing. And then you need to acknowledge it. I'll be like, oh, come on, it's a good day. You're going to have fun. They want. Like, if they don't want to lift heavy, of course you can't customize steady workout, but let's give an option to those
Yeah.
people that are not comfortable to go under like a heavy bar, especially if something like overhead, something that is a little bit more weird. We need to acknowledge all those things. So like all this talk between us on breakfast. So it was a long breakfast. And
I think it just comes down to reading people.
yeah.
I mean, like, I had another conversation with another friend. I have more than one friend.
Really?
Yeah. And it was a conversation about an interview with a sports psychologist. And this guy is the psychologist for the Australian cricket team, which for those of you that aren't Australian is a stupid sport. He's basically saying, you know, we've got 2 sides of the brain. We have this side of the brain, which is Teflon, and every time we get a good compliment or something about how we're doing well, that's the side of the brain that goes to, and nothing sticks, just glances off. Then we have this side, which is Velcro. And anytime someone tells us that we're no good, we're not fast enough, it sticks, and we remember that. So I think as coaches too, it's important to not just be like, don't give useless compliments like, hey, good job, you're doing well. Like, actually pinpoint something they're doing well. Like, hey, really nice setup position on that lift. Or, you know, you're doing really well reaching full extension on those box jumps. Give them a useful thing, but then repeat that a couple of times. Because you don't want to then have to tell them, hey, you know, you're not reaching the target on the wall ball, and they just remember that one horrible thing you said to them because you're trying to make them reach the standard. You know, you've got to kind of balance out the ratio of like, you're doing this well, and this well, maybe we can work on this a little bit.
And also that comes down to actually coaching. Because going around saying, good job, well done, that's great, all right, okay. What are you telling me? Like, what am I doing right?
I mean, like, this may surprise you by looking at us, but neither of us are actually cheerleaders. And that's exactly how I look at people in the gym. It's like, if I'm just going around going, hey, good job, rah, 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 go faster, come on, lift more, let's go.
You could have the two
Yay. You know, that's a cheerleader. A coach is here to try and help you move better, give you tips that you can actually implement, tips and cues to fix your movement and get you moving more efficiently.
So if you haven't heard any of those tips in your last week of training into your gym, have a think about it.
Yeah. Think about it, and like for all you coaches that watch this, because I know there's a few that watch but never like or comment because you hate us. Basically, like, it's something that I think about every time I'm coaching a class or a one-on-one session is like, all right, so what's the intention of this workout? What do we want everyone to get out of it? And how can I then encourage or coach them to get what they need out of the workout? Because if someone's coming in for that 1 rep max lifting session and what they need is to actually do 5x5 and get more comfortable with the barbell movement,